it's me, Louise, and welcome back to my channel. It is about time that I talk about something that has made a huge difference in my business, and that is Substack. I love Substack, and I'm so happy that I discovered that platform and that I moved my email list there. And I want to talk about why Substack is working so great for me, what's happened with my email list since I moved it to Substack, how you can use Substack, why you should use Substack, and kind of just give you a little look into my Substack account, my stats, and how I use it and what features I use. Hopefully I can make you excited about starting a email newsletter or moving your existing email list. I mean, we all know the problem with social media nowadays, the low reach and the censorship, getting your account closed down for whatever stupid reason, quantity over quality. You have to really hustle for the algorithm in order to be seen and discovered. It's hard to monetize your content and your engagement on social media like Instagram, for example. It's easier on YouTube because here, at least I get a paycheck every month. There is no such thing on Facebook or Instagram. There are a lot of problems with social media. The main problem being that we are pitted against each other to compete for diminishing returns. And I've made videos about this before. I made a video about why I quit Instagram. Like a year ago, I made that video. It's one of my most popular, most viewed videos on this channel. I'm gonna link it below for you if you haven't seen it. And then I've also made a follow-up to that video about, okay, so if we're not using Instagram to show our art or sell our art, what do we use instead? And spoiler alert, one of those things is an email newsletter. So I guess this video is kind of like a follow-up to that video in a way. We're gonna talk about the sane and sustainable, tried and true way of building a loyal audience long-term. People that are truly your people, that are interested in what you do, and that are the most likely to actually want to give you money for your art or your services or whatever it is you do. Those people are email subscribers. It's the case now. It has been the case for many, many years. Email lists are not going away. In fact, I believe we are in the middle of a newsletter revival of sorts. A lot of us have known for a while that we should have an email newsletter, but we haven't just gotten it to work for us for a number of reasons. Maybe even just cost. It costs money to have an email list on a platform like ConvertKit or MailChimp. So let's talk about Substack. Substack is a platform to host your email list. It's free, it's very easy to use, and you can build your email list, or you can import an existing email list into Substack, and then you can send out stuff to that email list. You can send articles that you've written, you can send newsletters, you can send podcasts, you can host a podcast on Substack, and now you can even also host videos on Substack, and you can send out videos to your audience. And you can host discussions, and there's a bunch of other functions that are really great. But the main thing is just, it's an email-focused delivery method of your content. Okay, so let's look at my Substack together, and I'll give you a little tour. Here's what my Substack page looks like for new visitors and non-subscribers. It's just a simple subscription box, no distractions. But the biggest difference from most email newsletters is this button right here, because you can actually check out my content without subscribing at all. So you always know exactly what you're signing up for. Much better, in my opinion, than bribing new subscribers with freebies that they're just going to grab and then unsubscribe because they don't really care about you. And as you can see, this looks a lot like an old school blog. There are a few different layouts that you can choose from here, and of course you can change the colors and the fonts, but the appearance isn't what's important on Substack. The content is, and you can have different sections of your Substack. These menu items here are sections, and each of these sections can be subscribed to independently. So for example, I have a section for my newsletter, which I describe a little bit here, and then these are the newsletters that I've sent so far. And then I have another section for my writing, like my essays. I don't really write essays right now, but I did for a few weeks, as you can see. And if you have a podcast, you can also host your podcast on Substack, and then you would have a section for that podcast. So people can choose which of your things that they want to subscribe to. And then there are these sections that everyone has. The archive, which is all of my published stuff, and then the about page. So this is the first and most important difference between Substack and a regular email list provider. Everything you send to your list in Substack is evergreen, as it's called. It's going to live for a long time. It's going to be discovered for a long time. And everything that you send out is first sent like an email, but then it also exists on this site, like in blog form. Everything that you see here was first sent as a newsletter, but now it exists like a blog item. So the bigger your archive and the better your content, the more chance you will have to convince a new person to subscribe to you and to stay subscribed. Then we have the social functions, which is where Substack really shines. With a regular email newsletter, there's very little interaction between you and your subscribers, apart from the occasional email reply. Here's what it looks like when I send out one of my newsletters. It looks kind of like a regular newsletter, and there's text and there are images, but then there are these buttons down here, and they make it really easy for someone to, for example, comment on one of my posts. And they can see what other people have commented, and we can have like a little community. And you're also more connected to other creators on the platform. Unlike on social media, there is no algorithm on Substack, and that is a good thing, because as soon as there's an algorithm, all interaction on that platform is tainted by what that particular company wants you to do, which is usually watch ads and scroll mindlessly for 24 hours a day. And it also affects the behavior of the creators on that platform, because when there is an algorithm, people are going to want to hack that algorithm in order to get their content seen. On Substack, as in the old days of blogging, the only hack is to consistently publish good content and to connect with people, your subscribers and also other creators. So both of these people are other Substack creators. There is a very ingenious kind of human algorithm on Substack. Substack creators can recommend other Substack creators. I, for example, follow a lot of writers and podcasters on Substack. And the ones that I enjoy the most and think that my audience would also enjoy, I add to my recommendations list. So these are my active recommendations. And these are how many subscriptions my recommendations has led to for these creators. And then a bunch of other creators are doing the same for me, which is very, very generous. So whenever someone signs up for my newsletter, they'll also get these additional recommendations. And since they know that they are handpicked by me, they are more likely to check out those creators. We are more likely to trust other human beings than an algorithm. So this builds like a genuine ecosystem between creators that benefits everyone. And then there's the built-in monetization on Substack. You can, if you want to, offer a paid subscription on Substack. You can price it almost any way you want, and you can allow people to pay monthly or yearly. And then you are entirely free to decide what these paid subscribers get. And there are many ways to do that. I've decided to keep it really simple for now by just allowing for voluntary donations. I want as many people as possible to have access to everything I create so that my list can grow as quickly as possible. Some people choose to make their archive accessible only to paid subscribers, or that only paid subscribers can comment on posts. Some create extra content only for paid subscribers. And it can be as simple or as complex as you want. I am planning on introducing a proper paid subscription in the near future, but I'm still contemplating what I want that to look like. So what has happened since I moved to Substack then? 3 things. The first is that I immediately felt inspired to create a better newsletter, to send it out more frequently and to put more effort into the contents, because Substack is a lot easier to use than all of the other email newsletter providers that I've tried. It mostly just feels like blogging. I can add images, text, audio, video, different kinds of links, and it just looks clean and simple. I've noticed that the number of views that I get on my newsletters is kind of steadily ticking upwards, and I can keep track of their performance and see how many shares and how many subscriptions they have led to and what links were clicked and things like that, which is really interesting. The second is that the growth of my list has greatly sped up. I don't think I can credit that entirely to Substack. A lot of it has to do with A, the fact that I'm consistently sending out quality newsletters, which I wasn't before, and B, that I'm also publishing videos here on YouTube where I mention and link to my newsletter a lot, which is driving most of my signups. But I can also clearly see in my Substack stats that a lot of these subscribers are coming from within the Substack ecosystems. I had 88 subscribers when I imported my previous list from MailChimp, and that was back in April 2022. Since then, my list has grown to over 700 subscribers. Almost 50 of them have subscribed as a direct result of this Substack ecosystem. And 35%, over 200 people, already had a Substack account, which probably made them more likely to subscribe. But you don't need a Substack account to subscribe to someone's Substack. You can totally just subscribe by email and barely even know that it's via Substack. And the third thing is that I no longer pay to have an email list. I get paid by my audience, which is so beautiful that I want to cry. As you can see, I only have 4 paid subscribers at this point, but I can't express in words how grateful I am for them. They have no particular incentive at all to pay me other than the goodness of their heart. They get nothing extra from me other than my gratitude. And that is really rare. And even if it's the smallest income bucket in my business, it's the one that I'm most proud of. Another bonus thing that's happened since my move is that I've made several new acquaintances with other Substack creators. I'm no longer just sitting alone and sending my emails out into the quiet ether. I feel like I'm adding to this community, and I love following and commenting on other creators' stuff. So yeah, that's my little Substack pitch for you. And tour. Maybe you've been curious about Substack for a while. I hope I have illuminated it a bit more for you. Also, I should add, I'm not sponsored by Substack, okay? I don't have a stake in this. Substack has not paid me to become a member of their platform. They have not paid me to talk about it, so this is not a sponsorship. This is really just my honest opinion. And I truly hope that if you are currently slaving away with Instagram or TikTok and you're starting to feel burnt out, start a Substack instead. Start an email newsletter. Start creating quality content that really lets you share your voice and your art in the way that you want, and start building a quality audience. It's gonna be worth it, I promise you. You are going to thank yourself a year from now that you made the decision to start building an email list, because that is the basis of most successful businesses, especially one-person creative businesses. We need our email lists. We cannot rely on algorithms and other like Silicon Valley companies controlling our reach and our engagement and cutting our audience off from us. Start funneling your social media followers into your email list instead. If you are a creative or an artist or an author or a writer and you already have a Substack, please let us know in the comments. Share your Substack link so that we can all follow each other outside of YouTube. Needless to say, if you want to subscribe to my Substack newsletter, the link is down in the description as usual. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all about Substack or email newsletters in general, and I'll try to answer those as best I can. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.